If you think the rules of football are set in stone, well, think again. Every single season, the game's rulebook evolves. And for the 2024/25 season, the big changes are all about safety, respect, and finally clearing up some of the most debated rules in the sport. So let's break down exactly what's new from the International Football Association Board, or IFAB.
So, a great place to start is with a really simple question. Why? Why can't the rules just stay the same? Well, the game is just faster now, right? The stakes are higher, and our understanding of things like player safety is so much deeper than it used to be. The rule makers are in this constant balancing act.
And this quote from IFAB's official rulebook really gets to the heart of it. Every change, every single clarification, is all aimed at protecting fairness and what they call the spirit of the game. It's about making sure that from a World Cup final all the way down to a kickabout in the park, we're all playing the same beautiful game. All right, so here's how we're going to walk through this. We'll start with why the laws are always evolving. Then we'll get into the new rules for player safety. After that, we'll look at some trials for improving on-field behavior, clarify those tricky gray areas like handball, and finally, wrap up with what this all means for you. Okay, first up, the evolving laws. See, IFAB's main goal isn't just to enforce rules. It's to make sure the game stays attractive and enjoyable for everyone, from the players to us fans. And that means the rulebook has to be a living, breathing document.
So, how do they decide what to change? Well, every potential tweak gets measured against these core goals. Does it improve fairness and integrity? Does it promote respect and safety? And maybe most importantly, does it add to the enjoyment of the game? This is basically the checklist that guides every single decision.
And that brings us to our second section, which covers probably the single biggest permanent change for this season, prioritizing players' safety with a new, official concussion protocol. This is a big one. So after a bunch of successful trials, competitions can now officially adopt what's called an additional permanent concussion substitution. The whole idea here is absolutely crucial. It lets a team prioritize a player's health without getting punished with a disadvantage on the pitch. It takes that competitive pressure out of a vital welfare decision. The procedure itself is really clear. If there's even a suspected concussion, the team can make this special sub. And here's the really clever part for keeping things fair. To make sure the other team isn't disadvantaged, they also get one additional substitute that they can use for any reason at all. And let's be crystal clear, this is a permanent substitution. The player's welfare comes first, period. They are not allowed to come back into the match under any circumstances, not even for a penalty shootout. It just shows how seriously IFAB is finally treating head injuries. Okay, next up, behavior. We have all seen it, right? Players crowding the referee. Well, IFAB is now officially trying out several new ideas designed to promote respect and cut down on all that dissent. These trials include stuff like captain-only zones, where only the skipper can talk to the ref in certain situations. They're also testing cooling-off periods to de-escalate those big confrontations, and even having refs announce their final VAR decisions to the whole stadium, kind of like you see in other sports. It's all about improving communication and respect. Now, it's really important to manage expectations here. You are not going to see these trials in the Premier League or the Champions League. Not yet, anyway. They're specifically for competitions that don't involve the top two domestic leagues or senior international teams. This lets them test and refine the ideas at other levels first. And for grassroots football, IFAB has clarified the options for using sin bins, temporary dismissals, to stop dissent. Leagues can pick between two systems. System A is pretty simple. Any yellow card offense and you're in the sin bin. Or there's the more targeted System B, where the sin bin is only for specific things, like dissent, while a reckless tackle just stays a standard yellow card. All right, let's dive into the gray areas. The rules that cause the most arguments. Handball and those red card dilemmas. For 2024/25, IFAB has given us some very welcome clarification. First up, handball. The rule is now refined around two key ideas. One is intent. Did the player deliberately move their hand to the ball? The other is body position. The big question is, has the player's arm made their body unnaturally bigger? So think of a defender sliding with their arms way out to the side. They're taking a risk by creating a bigger barrier, and that's when it can be penalized, even if it was totally accidental. Okay, here it is, the big one. This scenario has caused chaos for years. A defender makes a foul in the box. It's a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Penalty for sure. But is it a yellow card or a red card? What do you think? This table breaks it down perfectly. This whole situation is officially called denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Just look at that key column, attempt to play ball. If the answer is no, like for holding or pulling or a deliberate handball, it's a penalty and a red card. Simple. But if the referee decides there was a genuine attempt to play the ball, that old triple punishment is avoided. It's still a penalty, but only a yellow card. So really, it all boils down to one simple question for the referee. Was there a genuine attempt to play the ball? That one factor is what now separates a yellow from a red in these specific game-changing moments. So let's bring this all together. What do these changes actually mean for the game we all love to watch and play? How are they going to impact what we see on a Saturday afternoon? Here are the key takeaways. First, player safety is now a much more visible priority, which is great to see. Second, in some leagues, you're going to see these new experiments to improve player behavior. Third, that super confusing red card rule in the penalty area is now way clearer. And finally, all of this is driven by that core philosophy of keeping the game fair. But, of course, we end with a little dose of reality. This quote from IFAB is such a great reminder that no rulebook can ever cover every single thing that happens. Football is just too dynamic, too unpredictable. At the end of the day, we still have to rely on the referee's judgment to make decisions that align with the spirit of football. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As football keeps evolving, which of these changes, the concussion protocol, the behavioral trials, or those rule clarifications, do you think will ultimately leave the biggest mark on the beautiful game? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.